Davenport, Iowa, Twin City to Moline. Brian Morgan comes in, John, with a very, I want to say deceptive. I don't know how deceptive a 4-23 record with one draw can be. But he's a guy that hangs in there, and then all of a sudden he'll give you a win against the James Pritchard, who he holds a victory. He'll go a distance with Lou Savarese, Carlos De Leon, Camille Odom.
The bad news is he went the distance and lost to Ernie Shavers, who's 51 years old.
Yeah. I'm not telling you that he's the second coming. No, I'm not. I haven't bought his contract, nor do I have options.
All right.
But I've also seen Correa, who can be a lethargic fighter. I saw him last year on a show I did out here fight a draw with Warren Williams, another journeyman. He weighed 253 pounds for that fight. He has a big weight fluctuation problem. Anyway, that's Correa. He's in the white shorts, the red stripe. Brian Morgan, he's in the red with a black stripe. Minute gone by in round number 1. The scheduled 6-rounder. Nice left hook drops in there by Brian Morgan. Correa's got 5 knockouts in his 8 wins. Only 1 KO to the credit of Brian Morgan, not known for his punching power. And I would say right now, my guesstimate, and I don't have the exact weights in front of me, is that Correa has to be outweighing Morgan by about 40 pounds, John.
And then some. I'd say by at least 2 burritos.
Yeah, Correa moves well for a big man. Been the 6-round distance twice in his career. Morgan, of course, has been 10 twice, 8 on numerous occasions. So
you see Morgan, when he gets close, Correa just uses that big body to kind of swallow him up.
Referee Gino Rodriguez letting the fighters fight on the inside. Coming to you from the mark in Moline, Illinois. Heavyweight explosion on the Central Christian Sports Network. I'm Arnie Tokyo Rosenthal along with John Saraceno. Hope you've enjoyed our show thus far. Nice sharp jab on the part of Correa. He's got a good jab. He's got a kid you want to slap around and say, lose the 30 pounds and get in shape.
A good first round.
There you see Correa going back to his corner.
Very important. Vitally important. Do not.
Pretty good first round. Brian Morgan had I think a definite power disadvantage here against Jesus Correa, who lives in Davenport, Iowa, right here in the Quad Cities area.
Well, certainly the hometown favorite. But Brian Morgan's made a career going into other people's backyards as we take a look at action for round number 1. A lot of infighting, and referee Gino Rodriguez letting the guys do what they want to do. Not getting in the way, and a good body shot got in before Brian Morgan slipped out of the way. Round number 2, it's scheduled for 4. This fight was originally scheduled for 6, has been shortened to a 4-rounder. Jesus Correa.
Well, in a 4-round fight, you obviously can't afford to give up many rounds. I mean, you got to really get to it. And at Brian Morgan's age, what is he, 34? I mean, he can't afford to fall behind quickly in this fight. And already you kind of see a little bit of wobbliness in Morgan's legs. Doesn't look like he has a strong underpinning. And let's see if Correa can take advantage of that, Arnie.
And Correa's got his own problems. He's coming in. His incredible weight fluctuations, John. He weighed for his March '95 fight against Mike Payne at 260 pounds. And then in December '95, he trimmed down to 220, won a good 6-round decision over Tim Richards, looked very sharp, and here he is bloated up again.
Well, in a lot of young fighters that are fighting 4-rounders, you're not going to find necessarily a lot of consistency. It all depends how serious they are about their boxing, what they want to do with it. Do they really want to make it a career, or they really want to make it a hobby?
Ryan Morgan, a professional distance runner and/or fighter, as it may be. Good uppercut lands in there by Correa, as we're about halfway gone here in round number 2. And that's Correa. He's in the white shorts. Ryan Morgan in the red. No knockdowns thus far in the fight.
Brian's going to have to get a little closer to land those punches from the area he's trying to launch them from.
Well, I'm not so sure he wants to.
I don't think he wants to get any closer. That's the whole point.
He's been stopped 5 times in his career. Most recently in his last fight back in December 95 to David Eisenreich over in France. Got stopped in the 8th round. Also been stopped by Gerald Mitchell, Mike Peake, John Bray, and Peyton Phil Scott dropped him in his very first pro fight back in 1988.
Is Mouse Strauss on that record anyway?
No Mouse, but I think he's a Mouse Strauss fighter, as the expression goes. About 40 seconds to go in round number 2. Correa has never been stopped. He's never lost. He's 8-0, 1 draw, 5 knockouts.
And he's fought almost exclusively in Iowa. He's fought in Illinois once and Indiana once.
Nice headlock put on by Correa. Gets a warning. Get that headlock off by referee Gino Rodriguez.
Every time Morgan gets hit, he just holds on. He's got nothing in his legs. You could just see him being shoved around by Correa.
And it was interesting. Correa landed a low blow, but it seems to be getting a standing 8 count from Gino Rodriguez. So strange set of circumstances there. Ends round number 2 with a warning from Gino Rodriguez to Jesus Correa to keep those punches up. And here's action from round number 2. We're going to take a look on here. Definitely a low blow, but it didn't look like anything particularly hard, John.
No, but
I think the uppercut is more what hurt.
I'm not even sure the uppercut. I tell you what, when you don't have legs like Brian Morgan right now, anything hurts. Yeah, it was definitely low. He missed with his own right uppercut. Hey, he needed a breather. Probably did the smart thing. Let's see if Morgan can make it through the final 2 rounds here.
Set for round number 3, scheduled for 4.
Round number 3, we're scheduled for 4. Low blow warning at the end of round number 2, but still a standing 8 count for Brian Morgan nevertheless. And that's Jesus Correa. He's in the white shorts. Morgan's in the red. Good left hook drops in there. And it's really, you know, Correa, you could see, has the boxing skills, John.
He does.
He just doesn't have the proper, I would assume the proper training. Clearly overweight and prone to major weight fluctuations. Hasn't fought since December. And that's actually the longest layoff of his professional career as well, because he's been off now for close to 6 months.
Wow, Morgan just wading in with those wild shots and just trying, I think, really weather the storm here against Correa.
Yeah, no, Morgan, you know, when you see a guy that's got a 4-23 record, he's a professional distance fighter.
He's trying to survive.
And again, with some heavy hitters, he's been full 8 rounds with Lou Savarese. He's been 10 rounds with Tony Mitchell.
Also goes to show you, just because a guy has a good physique doesn't mean he can fight.
Yeah.
Or that he's an accomplished professional. I think sometimes people look at bodies and immediately draw an assumption. And by the same token, Correa, you know, knows how to box.
And I like the way you rolled your R's there. I have to point that out. Very good how you did that.
7 years of Spanish will do that to you.
7 years? 7 years of Spanish.
See.
Is that what you remember
you think
from
I'd
the
know
7
more, huh?
years? 1 minute to go in round number 3.
The other
and
word-
again, another warning for a low blow, this time to Brian Morgan, but I think it was payback time.
There's 2 other words I know in Spanish. Mucho dinero. I think you know what that means.
Those were the first 2 words that I learned.
You think Cedric knows what they mean?
I don't know, but a good left hook by Correa, and Brian Morgan knows what it means as he drops down to a knee. And let's see if it's called. No knockdown. Gino Rodriguez doesn't call it a knockdown. A good left hook dropped in there. Correa really starting to open up right now.
And Morgan wanted to take a quick breather there, and you just see his legs are like putty. He's just flying all over the ring.
You know, and he knows all the tricks to camouflage what would normally be knockdowns or even standing eights. There is no standing eight in Illinois, which still leaves me questioning what that was when that low blow was dropped in as we come to the end of round number 3.
Part of that heavyweight explosion at the mark of the Quad City.
Don't get too excited, okay?
Take a look in the corner, Jesus Correa, as we switch over now to Brian Morgan.
I think you'd have to say at this point that Brian needs a knockout to win the fight. Another wild right hand sends him flailing through the ropes.
And you know what the funny thing was? Correa didn't land anything in that exchange. That's just a very tired Brian Morgan, and as you pointed out, on very spindly legs at this point. Nothing holding him up.
Nothing but the ropes.
Set for your 4th and final round.
Fourth and final round. This was originally scheduled for 6, got shortened to a 4. Jesus Correa, unofficially at this point, pitching a shutout. Brian Morgan looking for his 5th win against 23 losses. Correa looking to stay undefeated. He came in 8-0, 1 draw, 5 knockouts. Hasn't fought since December, the longest layoff of his professional career.
Correa at this point looks satisfied to win a 4-round decision. I mean, he's not really turning up the heat here on Morgan.
You know, he can't. I've seen him fight before. When he comes in heavy like this, he just doesn't have any stamina at this weight. He looked beautiful in December at 220 pounds for his fight with Tim Richards. It's a crime for him to balloon back up to this. He's got some good boxing skills and could be a very good fighter.
Or at least a decent one. That's a nice body shot, left hand by Correa. Tries to follow it up, but Morgan again just in there to survive at this point. Minute 42 to go in the round.
And he knows how to do that as well.
And there's a right hand by Correa. He's got Morgan back to the ropes.
And you got to question a little bit about Correa's punching power, John. Morgan has been stopped 5 times. Correa's got 5 knockouts in his 8 wins, but with a 40-pound weight advantage and hitting shots like that, he should be able to stop a journeyman like Brian Morgan or a professional opponent like Brian Morgan.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just a little bit more than a minute to go in the fight. And I would really be looking for Brian Morgan to just be hanging on here for the balance of the fight as Correa lands a nice headlock in there. Gino Rodriguez separates the fighters. Good left hook to the body. Stops Morgan dead in his tracks.
Morgan just has nothing to keep Correa off.
Nevertheless, that experience of being an opponent, he's smothering the punches. He's not giving Correa punching room to really land that solid knockout blow that he needs.
Exactly.
Morgan, nevertheless, still throwing punches right up here until the end. 20 seconds to go in the fight.
Oh, right on the seat of his
But
pants.
I got news for you. He's not calling this a knockdown.
Slip.
To me, that's the 3rd time that Morgan's been down in the fight, and Gino Rodriguez hasn't called any of the knockdowns as we come to the very end with Morgan doing what he does best, holding on.
That is it. Let's hear it for both fighters.
Well, there it is, Brian Morgan, who I would say at the moment, should I say, slips to 4-24? Jesus Correa probably going to improve to 9-0, 1 draw. Didn't get the knockout. But we take a look at action here from the 4th and final round. A very good round for Correa. And perhaps, you know, this round fight was originally scheduled for 6, and that looked like a knockdown to me, John.
Well, you know what? I think he kind of used his forearm and actually pushed him. I'm not so sure about that upon seeing the replay.
Anyway, the fight was originally scheduled for 6 rounds, got shortened to a 4. Anybody's guess what would have happened had it gone the original distance, John. I got to believe Correa would have eventually stopped Morgan. He looked like he hanging on for dear life there in the 4th round.
Yeah,
3rd round he was hanging on. He was falling through the ropes on his own.
Right. You got to wonder what makes a guy keep trying to fight on, but I guess, you know, he could use the extra money, and he's good at being an opponent.
Well, be interesting to see if Jesus Correa starts fighting regularly again, if he can get his weight down to that 222. Very svelte back in December. I guess those holidays come around, and next thing you know, you're back up to 250.
We have the decision. Judge Gordy Boltman scores about 26-16. Judge Dave Hess scores it 19-17. And Judge Gary Merritt scores it 19-16. The winner by unanimous decision and still unbeaten, Jesus El